Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show, brought to you by Miller Lite. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the John Wristen Show here at Andy Max. Joe Cervi, along with yours truly, Jim Brooks, and the coach is making his way in right now, right on time. There he is, John Wristen, ladies and gentlemen. He's got his dinner here in front of him. It's just waiting for him to start getting after the meatballs. We got the crazy good chicken nuggets.
Boneless wings with the Asian zing sauce.
If you like chicken nuggets, you probably won't like these because they're way better. Exactly. We got all the dipping sauces here. We got the garlic bread. We got the meatballs. We got John Wristen. We're ready to go. We're in first place again, where we should be in this conference. It's a 7-way tie for first place. I go by the loss column, by the way, everybody. I don't worry about the wins. I worry about the loss column, and we're all even 7-way tie for first place in the RMAC going into this week. I mean, it's almost unheard of. John, welcome.
Well, I'm glad to be here, and thank you for hosting this show. You do such a great job with Mr. Cervi himself, and
you are in way too good a mood tonight. It's been wonderful.
We had a great practice today.
It was a good practice. Great tunes.
It was great tunes. Maybe that's why we're all excited.
Great playlist.
And we're going to forgo talking about football tonight because it is debate night. So we're going to go ahead and get everybody ready for the debate and start talking. Joe, go for Hill. Okay, never mind.
Here's the deal. We don't have. This is we're your respite from that.
Exactly.
We can talk football, sports, baseball. Risto's golf game today in practice. I call it recess at practice. Yeah. Recess at practice was frisbee through the uprights.
All right.
We had a little contest in the middle of practice, and period 15 was have fun period. And I started today with trying to have a great tempo, and our goal is that we get 10 plays per 5 minutes offense, and then 12 plays defense running huddles. We're a little lax yesterday because we're tweaking some things and had some teaching to do yesterday, and so today it was up tempo. We had great music, and we started to sing 3 weeks ago. These kids have worked too hard, and I wanted them to have a little fun with it and ease the pressure a little bit, and so I took one period and had some different competitions, and so we had offense versus defense, and it ended up being against me and Wardo on the end, and he did it, and I didn't, so I had to do up-down on that. So
Wardo tossed a frisbee 20 yards?
Yeah, 30 yards.
30 yards through the uprights.
Yeah, you got to count the 10 of the end.
I was... and of course they do it into the wind.
Yeah.
So it's like things falling from the sky. Guys ducking, putting their helmets on because frisbees are coming everywhere. But it's fun. You can see the players like it.
Well, it was it was a tie, and so I said we're going to end it. If I didn't have my whistle, my stopwatch,
of course,
came in and hit it, and instant replay proved that. But
instant replay.
Yeah, we need you to come on down here to Andy Max. It's a little quieter tonight. Tundra is actually in Yellowstone this week, but we've got a question from Tundra's mommy.
Okay.
She's already sent a question in for later on. They're going to be listening on the iHeart Radio application somewhere in Yellowstone.
Yeah, Tundra's out there trying to reconnect with the pack and bring the wolf pack, the Thunder Wolves, all back to us, and they were thinking about coming and making that drive over to Spearfish. I hope we see them, and I hope everything's going well for them.
Ever been to Yellowstone?
Yes.
It's great.
That dog needs to cool off.
Yeah.
It was so hot here.
It was blistering on Saturday. John, talk about that. There were some problems in the stands with a few people having a little heat stroke issues, I heard. And it was just kind of a miserable day to play football. It was great to kind of come out and watch. Might have been too hot.
Yeah, I thought the pack handled it great. That it was one of those nice days you get in October and you realize, shoot, it was over 90, and on that turf it is even hotter. And I thought our guys just played through it, and I thought it was it was a different, weird game in the aspect of you're looking at the stats and you're doing all those things. But the bottom line is that we found a way to win by 1 point.
And took advantage of some of the opportunities you had, but early on in the game it was a little dicey. They came right down the field, 4 plays. They kind of gash, touchdown. I mean, it was, hey, is it going to be this easy all day? But they had a game plan, and they executed that first drive.
Well, I think what happened on the first big play in the run was that our outside linebacker didn't quite read it right, and then the quarterback pulled it, and then the guard or the tight end pulled and was up on the corner, and that ended up getting us on our heels a little bit. And then on their touchdown, a 45-yard touchdown, that our safety kind of slipped on that. Tanner slipped, and it ended up being a big play for them. And
it was a gorgeous pass. So you can't knock them. I mean, they hit it right on the money.
They executed it, and we didn't quite execute it. But the good thing about it is we got down 6, and they were going for 2, and we held them to 6 instead of 7 or 8 on that, and so that gives you advantage. But I think what was really nice, we came down and responded right away, and we had a chance inside there to get a touchdown, and then Bernard breaks his fibula there, and poor Bernard, darn it, you won, you go wow. You just feel for him, and it was kind of a weird play.
Kind of stumbled right at the
start. Well,
he
he kind of jumped over, and I don't know whether he got hit or not, but when I walked out on the field, he goes, I think I broke it. I think I broke it. I go, no, I can't be. And then, sure enough, get him off the field, and they let me know he broke it. And he had surgery on Monday, and he's doing good. But he was a big part of what we did. But it was kind of cool seeing our kids rally after that and execute. And I thought it was a nice job by both all 3 facets of our teams, our defense and our offense and our special teams. And I thought our defense really stepped it up after that first drive.
The guy that stands out to me, just and maybe not flashy on Saturday, but just workmanlike, was Brandon Payer.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen him play as good a complete physical game as I've seen him play at linebacker.
Well, with that type of offense,
he was set up for that, right?
And we were funneling, per se, and fitting all the plays right to him. And he's got to make those, and he did. And both he and Sammy played well inside. But I think our tackling was much better, and I think that's due with having playing fast and understanding your leverage and people running the ball instead of being half-ass. And I thought we did a better job of that.
Well, no one coming in, their strategy, time of possession, they didn't let you down there. I mean, they like holding the ball. It's like they come up there almost like a 4 corners offense, come up the line of scrimmage, hang around for 30 seconds, then, okay, we'll run a play. And they kept doing that throughout the game, even when they got behind. And they hit some third downs. We're best in the conference on third down, so they didn't disappoint there either. But in the red zone or in the scoring zone, it wasn't just the red zone. It was more or less from the 40 or 30 on in, you shut them down.
Yeah, I think that they've done a great job. They coach to their system, they coach to their players, and I was very impressed with what they did. But I think our guys really responded. The time of possession really just got out of whack in the fourth quarter because we only had the ball for 2 series there.
Yeah, they had like a 15-play drive there, something ridiculous.
They had 3 third and 10s, and they converted on quarterback scrambles, and we had them covered, and we weren't going to give it a big play, and we just couldn't get to the guy and try to cup it a little bit on the inside. Those things happen in a ball game, and we were score game now, and our kids just kept playing, and we made a couple big plays on the kickoff unit and kickoff return unit, and how about the defense getting a safety down there? That was a great play. And
how about them getting a penalty on the 1?
Yeah,
and pushing it back to the ball.
It was inside though. It was like half the
Jimmy nothing on there. That ball touching the goal line. But hey, half the distance.
Well, I've seen the ball touch the goal line too.
Yeah, exactly, and work against it. Did it surprise you at all that they went in? That was the only play all day where they went under center. They were playing from the gun all day, and handed it off from under center, and it kind of backfired on them.
Well, whether it backfired or the fact that we get off, I think what we were able to do is Deion Sizer's got great push on the center and pushed him back, and then we were in our gaps and caused it to bubble, and the guys tackled him inside, so we got a safety.
Another kid who played extremely well Saturday was Deion Sizer, and I joked with him after because Deion's a big guy.
Yeah.
He's wearing that 52, that linebacker number, and I'm like, Deion, you got to get in the 90s, man. You're a 90s guy. He goes, oh, this is my high school number. He was so excited to get 52 to wear at his high school. I said,
I liked him as 99.
It looked out of place, but it was.
Falconis is good.
But he was so excited to get his high school number. You never realize what that means to kids.
Yeah.
And
I tell you, you never know what kind of gloves they wear makes you happy. You never know what other swag makes you tick, you know, and you're going, really? But that's the nature of what I do. So it was cool to see Deion get healthy and really playing fast and doing some good things.
He's a very good player when he's healthy.
Oh, I think he has a chance to really do some great things when he wants. And he's getting that maturity a little bit, and he's just an awesome kid. He does great in school. He's never had any issues, and he's just he needs confidence. And when you've been behind the 8 ball a little bit with your health, it's hard to get that. And then slowly but surely, he's had a great week of practice, and I'm just trying to keep encouraging him.
Plus, he had, I don't know if it's, maybe you can answer this better than. Not unrealistic expectations, but he was thrown into a group that dominates and has dominated for years. And you get with those guys, you're expected to be the guy right away, and maybe he wasn't ready mentally.
Well, I think like I said before, it takes a little. You got to have a little moxie there, and a little moxie comes with being able to be healthy and being able to be confident in what you do. I don't think naturally he has that swag as some of those other guys coming out and doing that. And that's not a negative. It's not meant to be a negative. But what he's done is he's grown into it, and I think JT Haddon, our D-line coach with Bo Beck, has done an excellent job of bringing him along. And I think, shout out to our training crew and Nick Horman and all the people that work down there. But Nick has done a great job of getting him healthy, and I think with our brand new training facility, you could see how fast you can recover after a high ankle sprain like that.
Yeah, people kind of forget. We brought it up in the broadcast. Forget that he was on the national championship team, saw some substantial playing time as a true freshman.
Correct.
And to play as a true freshman at our level,
right?
We see it when there's only a handful. Usually they can make it there, and he was one of those guys. And then the injury last year, but good to see him back. Yeah,
he's he's going to be a cornerstone of this PAC program for another couple of years.
And that's a little bit like you mentioned, JT Haddon and Bo Beck. Those are workman-like guys. They're not vocal, rah-rah coaches like we've been accustomed to on the defensive line. These guys are, let's go to work, here's the technique, get it done. And that's kind of fitting the personality, except for Brock and Alex. Those guys are nuts.
The dart throwers.
Yes, they're crazy. But the rest of the guys are pretty low-key for that unit.
Well, everybody has a little different personality and how they approach it, and not everybody's going to be a rah-rah guy and do those things. But I really am happy with this progress. I think Ian Kelly hit one of his better games. Ian was our defensive player of the week, and then I think Brock continues to get better in understanding. But the guy who I think turned it up and played better is Alex Falconis, and he was more active, and I'm excited to see his growth.
All right, we're at Andy Mack's here, John Wristen Show. Come on down and join us. Got drink specials. We got these boneless chicken wings are awesome. Meatballs, garlic bread, the whole works. We got baseball on here, the Cubs and the Dodgers. You can come watch that after the show's over here. We got all kinds of things going on. Come on here. You don't want to watch the silly debate.
No.
It's ridiculous. So who wants to be there? That's right. Come on down here.
Yeah, they're clapping.
John Wristen Show. Exactly. Nobody wants to watch that stuff. So come on back and join us. If you got a question for Coach Wristen later on in the show, on our third segment, 671-7574, 719-671-7574. We got a few lined up already, but there's still time to get one in there. John Wristen Show from Andy Max here on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350.
And welcome back. Here at Andy Mack's, John Wristen Show, as we get ready for this week's ball game against Black Hills State up there in beautiful South Dakota. They're in Spearfish, about 25 miles to the west of Rapid City. It's a great place to go. And, John, you make this kind of a special event. You made it that way every time you've had to go there with your ball club.
Yeah, I think I had never seen Mount Rushmore until 3 years ago, and a lot of guys never had those experiences, and I want to make sure every year if we travel up there, we're going to take them up there. And so we're going to leave tomorrow night and go up to Cheyenne and break up the trip, and we're going to practice in Lusk, Wyoming, a little high school there.
Yeah.
And grab a subway and head on up to Mount Rushmore and enjoy seeing that. And then head on into Spearfish and get our game faces on and get ready to go.
Well, it's shaped up. I mean, your schedule now, just right there in front of you now. The next 3 weeks, you're taking on teams that one of those teams that has 2 losses. So it's all going to shake out here. There's not going to be 7 teams tied for first at the end of this. Might be 2, might be 3, but it starts this week. It's like the playoffs start right now. Again, you've been in that kind of mode, but really now you can see it.
Well, I think as you guys know, we treat this as the gold box time, and we want to make sure we're playing our best ball at the end of the year. We want to make sure that we pay attention to our details and have the discipline to do what the details tell us to, so we can enjoy what the gold box. And so when you're playing and you're doing those things, you get rewarded for the next opportunity. And so our next opportunity is to play Black Hills, which is playing excellent football. They're 5-2. They've played really some outstanding. They remind me a lot of our younger teams that we had, that they didn't beat themselves. I think they're +10 in the turnover.
+12.
12.
Wow.
They're leading our conference. They're leading the country in interceptions. And so I really think that this is a great test for us. And they play fast at home. And it's going to be a great event for us to make sure that we handle our details and do what we're supposed to, and we get rewarded for those things at the end of the year. And that's playing quality football at that time, because if you really want to go do what you say you want to do, you got to do that. And so I think that's important that we stress that with our kids and our team.
Well, going around the conference, not only for football, but in basketball, this is one of the communities, I think, that really supports their program well. They turn out. They had a great tradition in basketball in the NAIA, getting teams into the national tournaments, particularly their women's division. They were there. They cheered to the very end. We were killing them a couple years ago in basketball. They're down 30, but they were up every time out. They get into it. Football, they have a great crowd. They just seem like they're really poised for good things in this conference.
Well, I have a lot of respect for John Reiner as their head football coach, and he's done a great job of building that program. I just think he does it the right way. He's a class act. I just
he was part of that Shadron crew back in the day.
He coached with O'Boyle, and he was running back coach with
Danny Woodhead.
And so he knows what it takes to win, and he's done a nice job, and he's got a great staff. And there's a guy that is offensive coordinator, Evan Esteburn, who's from Fairview, that I recruited at CU, but he decided he wanted to go to Maryland and did that thing and travel, and he's gotten into coaching. And so there's some connections. Ben Levine is also on that staff. Was a high school coach here in the state.
Well, they have a lot of Colorado kids on their roster.
And so they have a lot of guys that it came down to whether they were going to go here or there, and they decided Black Hills, and they've done a nice job with that. And so it's a great opportunity for us to, like I said, is to just take care of our game, take care of our details, and we got to go play fast, and we got to make sure that we match their intensity at home.
Well, one thing I noticed about Black Hills roster, I look at all of them, and I try to get all the JUCO guys and the transfers. I only counted maybe 6 or 7 that they've brought in. So they're building it kind of like you like to do, trying to build it with freshmen and your own people, keep them for 4 years, and things will pay off in the end.
Right. I think if you look back at their 2 deep from last year's game to this year is pretty identical. There's only a few different guys. And so what that tells me is that those kids have bought into what's going on, and they believe in their coaches, they believe in their system, and they're believing in playing fast, and they gain some confidence by winning some games. And you go through it, and maybe they shouldn't have won the Fort Lewis game, but they did, and they won the Adams State game on back-to-back travel weekends. And then, they just found a way, and they played fast versus Mason. It was after our game, and it was really, really exciting for them to be able to gain that. Now they're going to be gunning for us, and they're going to be looking forward to that opportunity to play us, and we're going to look forward to the opportunity to play them.
It's up for your ball club to kind of embrace that, knowing, hey, teams are coming for us. They know who we are, but let's just show them who we are.
Well, that's kind of what we have to do. That's what we have done, and we got to have the maturity to handle that. We got to be on a business trip. We're going on, I believe it's close to 678 miles, and this is a business trip, and we got to handle it. And when you go on a business trip, you got to prepare, and we prepared all week, and we're looking forward to those opportunities. And you got to make adjustments. You got to be into it. And this is not a joyride trip. This is a business trip, and that's what we try to stress with our guys.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about Black Hills in our last segment. Let's go back to the Thunderwolves here, because we want to touch on the play of Rex Dowson. And he's got a new little toy to play with out there on the edge, number 17, LC.
Yeah.
I mean, he was impressive, John. You told us he was a difference maker, and when you see him line up there, it's like, wow.
Yeah, he made a couple nice plays in there, and
good block too. A couple runs.
He's not afraid to block. He's like a Christmas. He's anxious to come out there and play and do what he needs to, and I think it was kind of fun to see him in his growth. And it's kind of unique that last game I had the kids write a letter and dedicate their performance that game, and I get a note on my desk on Friday afternoon, and it was from Larry, and about thank you for giving me a chance, thank you for believing in me, thank you for sticking with me, and it was really powerful, and I appreciate what he's done, and he's handled it the right way, and I think only time will get better, and he's a little rusty, and knowing he had a couple not running the right route, and but those things will get better as we go through.
Well, since we're talking about him now, I laughed. I've seen 3 or 4 NFL scouts out of practice. I saw Patriots and Panthers and Broncos, and no offense, I mean, we got a young team, so I'm trying to think, okay, who are they looking at?
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me, they're looking at that guy, Larry Clark, the senior transfer from San Diego State. He is a NFL body player.
Yeah, he's, I hope he gains a little confidence in his foot speed, but I do think that he will have a chance to earn a right to get into camp.
All right, looking forward to that, and let's talk a bit more. We get a little bit more time here. Rex played fabulous in that ball game. Some of those throws he made, John, I mean, they're just the wow factor against that. Man, oh man, is that a great throw.
I think talked to Joe after the game about his confidence in every play and learning what's going on and running the huddle and seeing what's happening. And I'm just proud of what he's been able to do. And a lot of it's going to fall on his shoulders now without Bernard there. And not that we don't believe in Meach and David Cardinal and Fred Dort but there are things that he is gaining, and we're able to throw the ball a little better with more consistency. I think, we only had 54 plays in this game, and we called 22 passes. So that's kind of what I'm wanting our ratio. Even though our yardage and our statistics, yardage wasn't up there with the very top, but when you average 5.4 yards per play,
don't take that.
We'll still take that.
And the throws he didn't make, the ones he threw away, the ones he just said, let's live for the next down.
Right.
And those, I think, as a coach, you have to be happy to see, instead of trying to do too much, throwing late across the middle, trying to force things, that he didn't do that Saturday.
That's part of your growth, is that it's not always going to be the way you draw it up, and you got to be able to adjust. As a quarterback, you've heard me say we got to manage the game. I want Clark Kent, and Clark Kent has to live for another down, and he's understanding that. And I think we're getting better at our protections and getting targeted right. And we're trying to get the ball to our playmakers out on the perimeter so we can run the ball.
Even Gordy was in a not good mood today. The line must be doing okay if he's happier I guess. Maybe not happy total, but at least the volume control was there today.
Well, it was up-tempo Wednesday,
sure.
So you had to be a little more positive on that.
Well, and the other thing I think we didn't point out. I was going through the stats again today just to refresh my memory. 1 penalty.
Yep. Yeah. It's kind of funny. You can go back to the games and see which crews have called penalties.
What are you saying, Coach?
I've talked about in basketball. I've talked to Ralph, and I used to talk to Kip Drown. I go, do you scout officials? Oh, Jim, that's over. I go, well, I'm serious.
I do.
You got to scout these guys.
Dang right I do. I want to know who calls, who lets you play a little bit, and so I can start working them.
Yep,
and I want to make sure that we understand that. So, we had a couple there, but they didn't call them, so heck, that's all right.
Let them play.
Yeah, we're on the side of just kind of letting
That's right.
John Wristen Show. We are here at Andy Mack's. We're at our mythical halfway point of the show. We're about halfway through our boneless wings here, about halfway through the meatballs. We're looking forward to being halfway through maybe an adult beverage after the show as well. We kind of earned it. It's the halfway point of the week. We want you to come out down and join us. If you got a question for Coach Wristen, 671-7574, 719-671-7574. I see about 3 more came in during the last segment there. So when we come back, we'll start hitting those questions. All comes your way next. What do you got, John?
We love these questions. So I'd love to have all the listeners, and it's very important that we hear from you. And we want to validate what you want to hear about the Pack football. So please give us some questions.
All right, 719-671-7574. It is the John Wristen Show. We are at Andy Mack's on Fox Sports Pueblo.
Can be the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Norton, our producer and engineer tonight.
Oh, she's angry, Caitlin, tonight. I'll have to see her tomorrow. She goes to yoga on Thursdays, and it's where she goes and gets her Zen on because she medals out on
Exactly. She's got to calm down after playing that kind of stuff. All right. John Wristen's ready for all these questions come in. Let's go to the...
We also got the hot mic for everybody.
Yeah, we got the hot mic if anybody's ready. Oh, man, I got a big number 9 next to my messages here.
Oh,
so that means we got a lot of them.
Here comes some questions.
All right. We got the hot mic.
Yep.
Let's see what's up. Here he comes. I think Wayne's coming in here.
Check.
All right. I'll get it going here. We're ready. All right.
Check.
It works. I knew it would.
You know me. I gotta be like the guys
out.
at the Thunderbolt.
Yeah, exactly.
1, 2.
So as I'm wont to do, I have a comment, I have a comment and a question. But the comment is, Spearfish is a really neat town, so I would encourage everyone that can get up there and back to Pack. It's beautiful. It's not that far of a drive. I went last year. It was awesome. Going this year, I think you should all go. My question is, I'm heartsick about Bernard. That's awful. Is there any chance of a medical waiver or anything, or has he played too much this season for that to even be possible?
I don't think there is any possibility for that, but we're going to look into it. I think it's a very long shot. He played too much throughout the year and late in the year, and so I would say no, but we're going to look for it, but I don't think there is a possibility.
Well, I hope it works out, but anyway, get to Spearfish, back to Pack.
There you go. Thanks,
All
Wayne.
right, thanks, Wayne. That's how you do it. That's how you handle the hot mic.
Just don't eat the nachos at the Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah, we won't be doing that this year. Joe and I will be having something very, maybe ice cream.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Wayne went to every game last year.
Right.
He went to every game last year, and I appreciate he and his buddies all being a part of it. And it's really cool seeing that support and that passion.
There's always Deadwood up there too.
That's right. Go take a little wager. All right. Ken was happy to come to homecoming this week, and he wants to know who's this number 84 kid. Joe and I talk about him every week. Now, he did come out of the game with a little injury there. We got to check out how that was, but of course we know him as
Don Carthel's grandson.
That's right, exactly.
That's the best. I mean, that is like the giant middle finger toward West Texas A&M. There can't be a better story than that. I think that's my most fun. Tanner Draper we were talking about. He's a freshman safety, and John, he's a
He's a football player. He's a football player. He's playing with a torn labrum. And he's really got 2 torn labrums, and the kid you can't keep off the field. And he's one of these kids that you go during 2 days and practice early. Go, who is that guy? Where's it? And finally the week going game week, we're playing you.
Yeah,
we're playing you, and the other kid is Jamal Sears. That's the other guy that's a deep freshman DB. But 84 is from Texas, out of Amarillo, and we're very lucky to have him, and he's just a quality kid.
They know the quick backstory. Don Cartha was the West Texas A&M head football coach who you're good friends with.
Yep.
And he got unceremoniously dumped from there. So I think the best way to stick it to your old place is to take your very good grandson football player and send him somewhere else.
You guys say he's grandson?
Isn't it?
No.
I thought it was his grandson.
No.
That was the story we were told.
Oh, who told you that?
You did.
No, I never told you.
Somebody told us that it was Don Cartha's grandson.
I never told you it was grandson.
Oh, I think it was Kit Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who?
From the SID at West Texas. Because that's Don Cartha's grandson.
No.
Okay, well, it was a better story.
A better story.
All right, well.
That's not true.
No. Well, who is his daddy? Who is his grandpa?
It's not Don Carthel. Because he sure in hell would have been at Texas Conference.
Oh, yeah, because of his uncle, or his
uncle then.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
So,
next question. This is a tough one. We've kind of talked about it, but listener wants to know just how exactly did Bernard's injury occur? For those just joining the program, maybe didn't hear, but what happened on the play?
Well, it looks funny on film is that he planted and then he kind of, when he jumped over the guy, whether a helmet hit his fibia on his non-weight bearing bone on his leg, or did the cut happen when he and so I think it was more a combination of all that, but he knew right away that it was broken, and so when I walked out on the field, he goes, I think I broke it. I go, oh man, I thought, just get up, and it didn't happen, but he had surgery on Monday, and I think everything went well, and we'll go from there.
Well, this fan wants to know, realistically, does a team with 3 losses have a chance to get into the playoffs? And when do the first regional rankings come out? Same listener, ongoing conversation Sunday, wants to know, are there any automatic conference qualifiers, or is it all based on your regional ranking?
It's all based on your regional ranking now. The only way that you get to be in that is automatic qualifier. If you're ranked in the top 8, they take 7 teams. If you're ranked in the top 8 and no one else is in your region that's in that top 8, you have a chance to jump number 8 to number 7, and so that would bump number 7 on that.
Okay,
and so the chances are slim, but there's a lot of football left to be played. And so we just got to go and handle our business, and we got to just keep worrying about that. And there's plenty of football to be played around in the other regions. Other regions have to have a couple other losses to make that happen.
All right, next question here. You guys a comment? Or we got a hot mic time. Let's go.
Love it.
We're ready.
Is this working?
It's working fine. You sound really good. You have a good career in radio ahead of you.
I sit on the east side, so I got a little perspective, a little different from what you do. And I saw something that maybe you didn't do. When number 29 intercepted that football on the 2-yard line, right away my roommate told me, wow, that's better than a punt. Which it was. So this guy comes off the field and he's celebrating himself. He's jumping around like crazy. The defensive coordinator called a little huddle over there on the bench, and all these guys are gathering around, and he sits on the bench like his butt's on the back and his feet are on the floor, and some guy comes up and high-fives him and knocks him off the bench, and he falls on his head. And it's a good thing he still had his helmet on. They were still high-fiving each other, and then CSU gets the safety, And it's like they didn't even realize what this guy had done. They're still high-fiving each other. It was kind of cool.
Well, I appreciate you noticing. I think you guys have found a sideline reporter.
Right.
Yeah, Charlie's on the other
Charlie's
side.
on the sideline reporter.
Yeah, I feel like, a spy. I could do you guys some good over there.
There you go.
Well, I appreciate it, Charlie. Maybe we can get that mirror. You can flash that sun in her eyes and like SOS over there. What's going on? And so appreciate your passion, Charlie.
Well, and the only other thing, I do have a question, and I ask this only because you used to be a coach. You're an alumni coach at CS for Colorado University.
You used to be a coach.
Used to be a coach.
Charlie, now I'm part of the Three Stooges.
You coached at CU, and I asked this question because of that. I was just wondering if when Joe is going to jump on that Buffalo bandwagon, if at all.
Well, I think Joe is truly if you were to take his blood, it would be green, and I don't think he would ever change. I mean, he has too many lines out there in the green and gold world to ever have a chance to come over the black and gold world. And so,
how about your Buffs, though, Johnny?
They're doing all right, aren't they? It was kind of nice. In fact, I was texting Coach McIntyre today, and best of luck. And it's nice to see them have some success. He's a great coach, great person. And Ricky George is the athletic director, and it's kind of fun. It's old time week or old team week or what. I don't know what I'm trying to say, except there's a lot of people involved in that program now, with Gary being the color radio and Rick George back there, and Darren Cheverini coaching, Hagen's back there coaching, and so you have a little personal connection. You want to wish them the best.
Well, we listen to Gary.
Yeah, I like Gary.
And Gary's always good to us. We had a fun roasting you one a couple years ago. He and I had a great time. He was as funny as anybody. He was great that night. He
was really funny.
And I always laugh. I have a lot of respect for a lot of people at CU, and there's some people who work there, some alumni. I mean, Donnell Liamidi is one of my favorite people, and he's on your staff, and he's as buff as they get, and he and I go back and forth all the time. And Dave Platty, who's still there, is one, if not the best in the business. He's pretty close.
He's kind of set the standard for that
he
job.
did. I mean, sports information directors around the country
he
pretty much everything that they've ever done to Dave Platty, and so he and I were at Buffett the other night together, so it was kind of fun. He's a parrot head, and of course he has connections.
Yeah, exactly. He gets you where you need to get.
Yeah, so.
All right, we got a couple more questions. We're going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll take care of those two questions. We'll talk more about Black Hills. That all comes your way in the last segment here. We're at Andy Max. Come on in, John, and join us for the post-broadcast celebration here. A cold one. Maybe 2. 1.5 or 2. We'll see when we get down to it. John Wristen Show here from Andy Max on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Welcome back. John Wristen Show here from Andy Max. Final segment. We've got a couple more questions to get here, John. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but first listener wants to know, how has the use of the underwater treadmill and the new training facility impacted the recovery of injured players?
Well, I tell you, it's brought them back a lot faster and a little more confident that they're able to run. And it's not as stressful on their body, but you're tested on a non-weight bearing, being able to do that. And we got our cameras hooked up so they can see themselves run, whether they're pronating the right way, and make sure it's happen on the proper pressure of their on the treadmill. So it's really helped. I think we got Dion back a lot quicker than we ever would. And, we've been lucky, haven't had too many of those type of things. But our guys, really, there's 15 guys that religiously go in that ice tub after every practice.
I was just going to mention that that seems to be the fountain of youth, if you were, for these high school or these college athletes. Of not only just the basketball players, but I talked to some track kids and some basketball kids. They go ask Nick if they could take an ice tub because of what it does to their recovery.
Yeah, it's social hour in there.
There you go. Maybe that's why they want to go.
That's right.
All right, speaking of social hour, I got a couple pictures I'll have to share with you here later. You can probably see. There's Uncle Charlie. They're up in Yellowstone. He's tipping back a cold one up there with Tundra's mommy. They got grizzly tracks in the snow. Tundra's tracking down a grizzly bear. So it's snowing up there at Yellowstone, but
Thunder's happy.
They're want to know what the biggest challenge your team faces on this long road trip, or any road trip.
I just think we got to stay focused and not get distracted, and I think we got to create our own energy. When you're at home, you have the fans that create some of that energy, and we got to create our own energy the way we play, and we got to be focused about what we do. And sometimes you go to these other places, and it's like it's not even as excited as going to practice half the time. And so we got to create our own energy, and we got to stay focused, and we just got to worry about ourselves and enjoy that.
Well, Madison and Abigail taking the night off, John. They're probably getting, as well-schooled as they are, and Daddy Chris is probably all charged up for the debate or something. I don't know. Maybe they just forgot about us, but we'll see what happens. And I agree, Joe. That's why you got to have a certain level of confidence to take ice tubs religiously, don't you, John?
I really think it's very helpful in getting the blood flow to those areas that need that. And sometimes it causes a while for that to understand that. You got to be able to fight through it. The first 7 minutes are the toughest going through that. And then after
I remember soaking my arm in ice.
The first 7 minutes are the toughest. And then, after that, you get that blood flowing to those areas, and it really works well.
All right. That's okay. All right. That concludes our questions this week. Thank everybody.
Abigail and Madison.
They didn't check in, so they've got 4 minutes here to get one in. But we're going to move on, talk about Black Hills State. We touched on them a little bit, but this is a ball club. They've been a little bit up and down here lately. When they've been up, they've been really up. I mean, they just dusted Mesa, destroyed them, but then they bounce back and get pretty well shellacked by Western State 27-0. Which ball club do you expect to see this weekend?
The guys that are coming and playing fast at home, and that's Black Hills. They're going to play fast. They play air-free. You got a great system. They do a great job in one of those counting the numbers in the box. You got to cover up. 83 is a heck of a receiver. I think they're getting their best running back that's been out since the middle of the Mesa game and didn't play Western State. But they're going to play fast. They're going to play physical. And we just got to go and worry about ourselves and control what we can control. And we just got to take care of business. And I'm looking forward to our guys being able to do that.
Yeah, I'm sure they're just approaching. This is another building block for their program. Hey, we're bringing in the national champ from a couple years ago. Let's go in and knock them off. I'm sure that's how I'd promote it.
Yeah,
I'd say, hey, it's a battle for first place. We've got to come into our place. Let's show them how we rock.
What a great opportunity. You're playing at the end of October for first place. What a great opportunity for both teams. It's great for college football. It's great for the RMAC to have so many teams and have some parity to it. And we want to be on top of that at the end of November. But you got to go through these games to have those opportunities, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, John Reiner said, I had a nice conversation with him, and he said that the Western State game for them was almost a little bit of complacency. He said, we were riding high, we're doing everything right, we go to Western, and Western's a very physical team, as you know, and they just beat them up. He said we didn't match their physical, and I think our guys, that was a wake-up call, and said, hey, well, if you thought they were physical, wait till you see the guys coming to Spearfish next week. They're more physical, so you better get going. And he said that he was a little disappointed in their effort.
Yeah, you can kind of see, their games at home, they really played fast. And I thought, again, they played Mesa the week before, and they were on a high, and Mesa created some turnovers for them, and that built with that fire, and they played fast. And so we got to make sure that we take care of the ball, and we got to create and focus on ourselves.
And defensively, you mentioned the turnovers they force, so I guess that's probably job one for your ball club, going in there, take care of the ball. Don't give them some easy scores where they can get it going even more at home.
Yeah, we can't give them more opportunities, and that's the nature of when you turn it over, you give everybody more opportunities. And, since I drew the line in the sand after our West Texas game, we are +4 in that area, and we're going to continue to build on that, and that's kind of what we've done is refocus that.
And as our last segment, as we do each and every week, your message to the fans. Here we are, finally at a spot in the season. We've kind of gotten over maybe that spot where everybody's a little bit worried now. It's still right out there in front of you.
Well, I said after our, our start of our season that, our best football is yet to become. And so I think that everything that we have control over, every goal that we wanted is still out in front of us. And so this is a chance to make sure that we go and we play against a great Black Hills team, as I would say, and we got to make sure that we manage ourselves and have a chance to be able to do those things and not get caught up in all that minutiae stuff, is what I call it. Be single-minded, single focus. Don't get outside of that, and that's what we got to do, and this is what you got to do in the gold box.
All right, we're looking forward to it. We'll have the ball game for you Saturday afternoon right here on Fox Sports Pueblo. If you don't make that 8-hour trip up there, as Wayne invited you earlier, one of the hot mic statement, come on up to Spearfish, watch the ball game. But if you don't, 12:30 we'll be on the air with the pregame show, 1 o'clock with the kickoff right here on Fox Sports Pueblo. Caitlin Norton has been our producer and engineer tonight. We thank everybody here from Andy Max, for my partner Joe Cervi, for all of our listeners, for the coach John Wristen. I'm Jim Brooks bidding you good night from Andy Max.
Go Pack!
Thanks for listening to the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. Tune in again next week at the same time for all things CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football. Only on Fox Sports 1350, KCCY Pueblo.